Caitlyn Jenner, talking about the new revealing book, The Secrets of My Life. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you is that you always knew you were Caitlyn.
Yes, I didn't know my name.
You didn't know your name?
That is one of the most difficult things in life. Can you imagine trying to name yourself?
It's hard.
Yeah, oh my God. I changed names.
Options?
I went here, I went there.
Give us an option that you had.
Heather was one for a long time. Why? Because when I was in college, this goes back a long time, there was this group called the Serendipity Singers.
Yes.
At little
Yes.
Graceland, yeah, and at Graceland College in Iowa, and they had this song, Heather, and Heather is her name, and this and that, and I'm listening to, oh my God, that's like a great name.
Yeah.
But then that faded out. Yeah. That's not gonna work. You know, and then I went to other names, but the funny thing was, eventually with my assistant, when I told her, you know, a year before I transitioned, she goes, oh my God, what do I call you? And I said, God, that's the greatest question. And she goes, I always liked the Caitlyn. And that was on my list.
Right.
But she said I would spell it C-A-I-T-L-Y-N. It'd spell a little bit different. And at some point, you just got to bite the bullet and say, go. The funny part was when I told Kim.
Right.
I tell Kim, and I say, okay, it looks like I'm doing this, okay? And they're all, oh my God, you know? And she goes, oh my God, what am I gonna call you? And first of all, I said, Dad's fine. I have no problem with that. And all my kids still call me Dad, which is fine. I'll be their dad until the day they die, okay? And I said, well, Caitlyn. And she goes, oh, thank God you stayed with the K's. I said, no, I'm staying with a C. She goes, oh, you could just see how deflated she was.
Yeah. So does she call you Caitlyn now? Does she call you Caitlyn?
Oh, yes, everybody does. Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah,
Go.
we were talking about this. You know, we talk a lot about male privilege here, especially white male privilege. And for 65 years, you had that. How has it been different to now all of a sudden be experiencing life as a woman and as a transgendered woman?
Okay. Yes, I did have that. I've lived a very interesting life. I always say I've got the ultimate double, and I won the Olympic decathlon, combined with I won Glamorous Woman of the Year. Maybe that's about, Joy, that's about as good as it gets. That's as good. That's a wonderful life right there. But a lot of people have a hard time with male to female transgendered people because of that certain thing. Why would you give up that male privilege? Okay,
it's a little deeper than that.
Why would you? Yeah, and why? But why would you give that up? What we consider in society as a strong male, but a weak female. First of all, on the female side, I can look at it very differently. Okay, because I did live as a male for 65 years, and so I think I have a different perspective. First of all, I think women underestimate themselves. You know, I think because they're kind of brought up in a way that, you know, they're female, they're weak, they're this. I was always with very strong women, from Kris from Kris to Linda to Christy to 3 times I was married. They were always I was always attracted to strong women. And I think women in a lot of ways underestimate themselves just because of the way society treats it. I don't see it that way. I look at women as the amount of power that they do have. They have power in the boardroom. You know, they have ways, feminine ways, to be able to get what they want. And I really respect women who have learned that. But I think it's hard. And for me, I still have little Bruce living inside. I still do so many of the same things I used to do. I race cars. I fly golf. I fly airplanes. I got my motorcycle. My battery went bloop, and I got my motorcycle fixed. And so I can still do all those things.
Women do all those things.
But women can do all those things. I just look a lot better doing it.
A clip of something in this week's episode of Keeping Up with Kardashians.
Uh-oh, here you go.
Kris reacts to having read your book. Let's take a look.
Did Kate bring the book over?
I read it, and basically the only nice thing she had to say was that I was great socially at a party one time. Like,
but yet, he stayed married to you the longest. So it doesn't make sense.
None of it made sense. Everything she says is all made up.
So, have you spoken to her since this episode aired?
No. No, actually I wanted to give her a call and say, hey, look, I'm going out to promote the book. I'm going to be on air. I want to see kind of how I should handle what you're doing, because I had found out online the week before they were promoting that. And to me, first of all, we had 23 great years together. The last few were a little tough, and we mutually decided to go our separate directions, and it was a mutual decision. The divorce really was one day. And that's all it took. And, you know, she found the house. She decorated the house where I was moving in Malibu. I mean, she was very gracious and great. And we stayed friends for a long time. But what I say in the beginning of it, this is my story. You know, this is not her story. This is my story. This is the way I saw things in my life. Right. And I think in so many ways, and I say so many nice things about her in the book.
You do.
But
you do.
her perception of what happened and my perception are different, which is okay. And I wish she hadn't gone down that road on the show, but it's a reality drama.
But it is a reality show.
Yes, yes.
And so, look, you have to come back. You just have to. You know what? Please come back and co-host with us.
I will come back and
co-host. Come back and co-host with us. Come back. You know? I think you'd have a great time. It's crazy over here.
Can't do Friday anymore.
No, well, no.
Joy and I, we have a lot to talk about,
We
don't
do,
we?
yes.
Yes, we do.
You know, I'm not even bringing it up. You know that.
Yeah.
Look, come back anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
I will.
Thanks to Caitlyn Jenner. Her book, The Secrets of My Life, is available now. And we, of course, will be right back. You wanna read this. You really